Hi, friends and supporters of Prairie Soap House and Apothecary. This is Erin Oberlander, certified holistic aromatherapist, herbalist, and holistic health expert. I am here today to talk to you about some tips for fall. We just had our fall equinox on Monday, September 23rd, so at the recording of this video, that's a couple of days ago. And what that means is that we have come from summer, which is the longest days of sunlight. We are now halfway to winter, which is the least hours of sunlight in a day. And we're right at that halfway point where we're going to start to see a lot of shifts and transitions in the weather, as well as in our bodies and our mindsets, the things we're craving, right? So I wanted to just let you know that I actually taped a podcast with my friend Amanda at Activated Living. So you can go to iTunes, you can go to Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, and just look up Activated Living. And it's been recently uploaded. And in this podcast, I go deeply into some of the practices that I recommend for people based on recommendations from Ayurveda, from traditional Chinese medicine, and I even threw in a little bit of aromatherapy into the discussion about things that we can do, simple things that we can shift and change to help our bodies make this transition into the colder weather, into the darker seasons, easier. So when we work in harmony with nature, when we realize we are part of nature and that nature is here for us and we are here for nature, we can begin to operate a little bit differently in how we're showing up. And instead of feeling like nature or our bodies or what have you is the enemy, we can begin to see how when we notice the cues that nature is giving us in each season, it's teaching us something and it's providing things for us. There's also things that it takes away every season that we've maybe had enough of at this point. So coming out of summer into fall, maybe you've had enough heat. For those of you that live more of an agricultural lifestyle, maybe you are tired. You are tired physically. You've done a lot of physical labor. You're tired of being out in the field. And for those of us that don't necessarily live an agricultural lifestyle, maybe summer has been about something else for you. Maybe it's been a lot of travel. Maybe it's been a lot of kids' sports stuff. Maybe it's been a lot of great downtime for you, and that's awesome. But that is not something that we are meant to sustain long term. We're really not meant to sustain a whole lot of anything long term, because what we see in nature is that things are always changing. They never stay the same, and it is for the benefit of nature that they don't. It is for our benefit then that we learn how to adapt to those things, and we learn how to embrace certain practices for each season to leverage ourselves into better health and wellness. And you guys, this can be something that's so simple. So, for example, my hat. Going into fall, we are coming away from the heat. We're going into a season of dryness. We're going into a season that is very often quite windy, cold, often tumultuous, right? So I think of like those cold, blustery days where it's sort of raining and all of the leaves are coming off the trees and you just feel like being inside and being warm and cozy. You want to embrace that feeling. You want to embrace the warm and cozy. You want to embrace things that protect your body from the cold and from the wind. And you want to increase the warmth of colors of things that you're wearing. Yes. So in summertime, we want light and airy. We want maybe to wear a lot of whites and things like that, linen, things that breathe. Going into fall, we're going to change that. We want to start wearing hats. We want to start wearing scarves. This, in essence, is creating some armor for our body. One of the things that traditional Chinese medicine talks about. Our metal element is our element for fall. And what metal teaches us is that we need to protect ourselves. We need to armor ourselves against the forces, those pernicious influences of cold and dry that are so challenging for our bodies at this time of year. We can also understand that metal element as being reflective of our immunity. And I go into some things in the podcast about immunity and how we can support immunity through the use of essential oils, and I give some specific recommendations on that. So what I want you guys to do is realize that, first of all, we have now hit fall. I know people start talking about fall season a long time before we actually get to that fall equinox. People are talking about the pumpkin spice lattes and all of that, and they get sort of wistful and want to have like that warm, cozy time before the season's actually there. This is typical of Americans, that we're always rushing ahead into things. So my first thing is that I want to encourage you to be present in the now. And where we are now is that we've just hit that fall equinox. We're still going to have some days that are summery. We're going to have a lot of days that don't feel summery at all. We might even have a little bit of winter here and there. in the fall season. So we want to do things to build ourselves up, to create some really solid routines. We want to change some things about our nutrition. I talk about this in the podcast. And if all of these things are of interest to you, this is what we do in the Intuitive and Seasonal Living Academy. And the Intuitive and Seasonal Living Academy uses ancient wisdom to help you find your innate purpose. We are combining all of the things that I talked about already. So traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, and aromatherapy, along with some really incredible personal development from my business partner, Corianne Faith, that is going to get you in touch with your core essence, as well as the things in nature and around you that are your resources to use and to take care of. And in so doing, you can connect more deeply with why you're here and how you can make things easier on yourself while you are, so that you can show up to be the person that you really need to be. If that is of interest to you, I want you to go over to intuitiveseason.com, where you can enroll in either just the Fall Academy, or if you want a little bit of savings, you can actually enroll in the full year of the Intuitive and Seasonal Living Academy, and I can't wait for you to join us in class. Again, check out that Activated Living podcast from Amanda Smith, all about some overview of the fall season. We also talk about some really great medicinal plants that she goes into, such as yerba mate, some others, teas from South America, and then we do talk about our beloved cacao. So definitely check out that podcast, Activated Living, just came out on Monday. Check that out, and I will see you next time.